Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to a Friday edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast, as we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today, especially here in January in the new year. Yes, contact Anidjar and Levine, and you get more details on my official studio sponsor on my website at markmosesshow.com. And yes, Happy New Year to everyone out there. Hope you had a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I am here at home. I thought here on a Friday, even though I have a day off, I have got to chime in on all the craziness we had over the last 2 days in the world of college football. I know the NFL, Week 18 is coming up tomorrow and Sunday, but we got to talk some college football here on a Friday, especially what we saw in those 4 games, New Year's Eve and then 3 yesterday on national TV. You now live in a world where there are 4 teams left in college football. And that does not include Ohio State, that does not include Alabama, and that does not include Georgia. The 3 teams that have dominated college football over the last decade, they are gone. They are out. And you look at Indiana. Indiana is the blueprint to the new world of college football we are going to live in. Indiana, who had not been in the Rose Bowl since 1968, destroyed Alabama on national TV. It was so bad. The final score was 38-3. And Alabama, we're not talking Boise State. We're not talking Maryland. We're not talking Iowa State. We're talking the Alabama Crimson Tide, the darlings of college football over the last 15 years, did not score a touchdown on national TV. Indiana destroyed them 38-3. That's the new reality. We're not in the BCS era. We're not in the 14 playoff era. We're in this era now. And it's an era where there's 12 teams. Everyone can make the dance. And there's NIL and there's transfer portal. That's the new world we live in. And Indiana is the blueprint and in the example where your team locally can go compete for a national title. You don't need to go to like 4 or 5 teams we always talk about. You could go to Bloomington, Indiana, and go compete for a national title. Signetti, what he's done there in 2 years is phenomenal. But he didn't just show up as Mary Poppins waving his wand and then everything just got fixed. Oh, no. There was a report they did with 60 Minutes where they interviewed him. They interviewed the athletic director and the president. They have spent $50 to $60 million on the football program this season alone. They are spending money on players. They are all in. Everyone says they're a basketball school. No, they're a football school now. They are spending big money. They finally took it serious, and they finally had an opening to get it done. They could go get players. They could go pay those players. And there are players that are sitting on the bench that now could go play for them. They are undefeated, and honestly, they're the favorite to win the national title now. It is a reality. This is not a Cinderella story. This is a legit program. And if you don't believe me, go ask the Alabama Crimson Tide fans. They got their heads smashed in yesterday. Wasn't a fluke. They dominated that game. That's what's happened here. I was talking to my dad earlier today, and we were talking about all the chaos we saw yesterday. Here's what it is. With the transfer portal and NIL, before Bama, Ohio State, even Florida, Penn State, Michigan, all these big blue blood schools, you're getting 50 great players. You have them all. You have so many players on the team. There are players that are sitting on the bench that should start for other teams. Well, now with NIL, you can't pay everyone. Your budget's not big enough. So those second and third string guys are not sitting on the bench. They're going to these other schools. So that's why we're seeing an Indiana and a Vanderbilt. Hey, they're competing now. Those players who are sitting on the bench, your second and third string guys, are now going to these other schools. And now they're going to get a chance to win. They're getting paid. They're not going to sit there and wait their turn. They're going to go to these other schools. I know the transfer portal opened today. It's going to be going on here for the next couple of days. These are the important times. Who can you get in the transfer portal? I mean, a year ago, Indiana, think about this. They went out, they called up the quarterback at Cal, Fernando Mendoza, and said, hey, Come to Bloomington, Indiana. You'll start, we'll pay you, and you'll be a winner. And guess what? He's done all those things. And now he's probably going to be the number one pick in the NFL draft. That's what's happened. It's all about the money. It's not about, in olden times, 10 years ago, the idea of like, oh, well, we got to get the best facilities. We got to make sure we got the best coaches. No. It's about the money. Get the money. Can you pay these players? Can you do it? These players don't care if you have the best science program in the country. They want to play and they want to get paid. That's the new reality of college football. And I said this a couple weeks ago. Here's what you need to do with all this stuff that constantly changes. You need to make it where transfer portal and signing period comes after the national title game. Again, I just said this a second ago. We're now getting ready for semifinal games, and the transfer portal opened today. That's how crazy. Early signing period was in December before we had bowl games. I think you got to change all of this to the beginning of February, where you can sign players and then also sign them through the transfer portal. That's what it needs to be. But again, this is why people like Nick Saban said, I'm out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to deal with NIL. I don't want to pay these players. I didn't grow up coaching to live in this reality. And if you're going to compete moving forward in college football and maybe even college basketball, you've got to adapt. You have to understand these players want to play, they want to get paid, and they want to become superstars. And they don't care the mystique of Alabama or Michigan or in these other big-time schools. They'll go where they can go win and get paid. And that's what's happening with Indiana. Indiana is going to maybe win the national title. Don't think this is some Cinderella story. It's a fluke. It's not. This is what's happening now in college football. They're a 4-point favorite against Oregon coming up. What is it, next Thursday or Friday? 4-point favorite. And guess what? They beat Oregon in Eugene earlier this year. They should go out and beat Oregon late next week. And that game at the Rose Bowl, the whole country saw this. It's 3-0 Indiana early. Here's the game. Bama has the ball in their own 30, 35-yard line. It's 4th and 1. They line up like, oh, we're going to go for it. But you could tell it's one of those, let's see if we can get them off sides. Indiana didn't flinch. They call timeout. All right, they're going to punt. No. Kalen DeBoer decides, all right, no, I'm going to go for it again. And Indiana didn't like that. You poked the bear. And they stuffed them on 4th down. Indiana gets the ball. They go right down the field and score a touchdown. And I wrote down yesterday, game over. It's over. Indiana is legit. And their defense is disciplined. They don't miss tackles. They make plays. And then you have a quarterback again, Mendoza. I think a lot of eyeballs are watching him. When I'm talking eyeballs, I'm not talking fans. I'm talking NFL scouts. They want to see how he did against a big-time SEC opponent, and he carved them up. He reminds me of a more mobile Kirk Cousins. That's what he reminds me. He's going to be the number 1 pick after winning the Heisman Trophy, maybe win a national title. And the question is he going to the Raiders? He's going to another team. He is legit. He is a mobile, better version of Kirk Cousins. That's the way I look at him. And this is what's happened. This is the reality. So the team I cover, like Florida or like a Florida State or UCF here in a very rich, talented state of Florida, can you go get the players? You have no more excuse. Well, we had an off year. We need 4 years. Indiana is in the semifinal in year 2. You have no business not being competitive when you have the players right in your backyard. That's what it feels like to me. Heck, Florida can't even get to a bowl game. Florida State can't get to a bowl game. UCF can't get to a bowl. Forget the playoff. Can you fix this? Can you get the right players and you can compete for a national title? Notice I didn't say one team. Oh, the Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes, remember, have not won the ACC since they joined the conference in 2004. And they are 1 win away now from competing for a national title. The team that won the ACC this year had 5 losses, Duke. Because of all these tiebreakers with conference wins and losses, Duke played Virginia and won in overtime there in Charlotte like a couple weeks ago. Duke is the ACC title champion. But Miami might go for a national title. Miami, it's still, this is one of these things where, I'm just went 10 minutes on how great Indiana is. Miami's defense is legit. What boggles my mind with them is, how did they not win the ACC? I don't understand. Two losses by a combined, 4 or 5 points? One was in overtime to SMU. They make no sense. They lose by a point to Louisville at home, then they lose on the road. Couple points, 10-2. Remember, for 4 straight weeks leading up to the Selection Sunday, they're like, we deserve to be in. We beat Notre Dame. We're so great. We should be in. We should be in. Well, you know what? Those fans were right. Miami did deserve to be in, and they proved it with their 2 wins. They went to College Station and shut down Texas A&M, who had 1 loss on the year. They won that game, 10-3. Then, a couple days ago, they take on Ohio State, defending national title champions. Everyone thought Ohio State was going to win, including myself. And they're up 14-0 and a half. One was off a pick 6, and they just ran it down Ohio State's throat, and they won 24-14. Miami looks like a team that should, with that defense, led by Mr. Bain, who's going to be a top 3 pick in the NFL draft, they look like a team that should go out and shut down Ole Miss. They're a 2.5-point favorite coming up in this game. They should go out, led by Carson Beck on offense. I love Tony, the wide receiver. They should go out and beat Ole Miss in this game. If they could shut down Ohio State, if they could shut down Texas A&M, they should go out and shut down Ole Miss. And then we might have a national title game of Miami versus Indiana. You didn't have that in your preview magazine. And the thing with Miami is, you got to give credit to Mario Cristobal, right? He's had some mistakes, X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's, in the first couple of years there in Miami. But he's just kept building and building and building. And that win against Ohio State is the breakthrough he needed. And if he can get to that title game, or I don't know, in a scenario, win the national title, then that opens the floodgates, because that goes back to my main point. Miami and their fans and their boosters have deep pockets. This isn't Lincoln, Nebraska. This isn't, Charlottesville, Virginia. Oh, no. This is Miami, home of I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Inside the U. Yes, they have big-time money. And if they could start winning, more players from the state of Florida and around the country are going to go play for the Hurricanes and get paid better than you would as an NFL rookie. Man, that defense is nasty. And Miami's moving on. So again, late next week, it is going to be Ole Miss, now with Lane Kiffin, who I think is the biggest loser in college football, even though he's going to make $100 million and got paid. Remember, LSU paid every time Ole Miss wins in the playoffs. He's supposed to get a bonus. LSU said, we'll pay that. So he made $500,000 last night. But again, you should have stayed at Ole Miss. You could have competed for a national title. He thought, I'd go to LSU and win for titles. His team now is competing for national titles. You don't have to go to Baton Rouge. It's going to be Ole Miss, Miami. It's going to be Oregon versus Indiana. So the Big Ten, no matter what happens late next week, Big Ten's going to be in the national title game. ACC's got one team. SEC's got one team. And it's not Michigan, Ohio State. It is not Georgia, Alabama. Again, it's Miami Hurricanes. It is Ole Miss Rebels. It is the Oregon Ducks. And it's Indiana Hoosiers. It's going to be exciting. And that opens up the most epic 5 days of football in this country. Semifinal game Thursday. Semifinal game Friday. All day that Saturday. NFL playoff games for Wild Card Weekend. Nonstop games Sunday. And then the Monday night game as well. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's going to be epic. It is. Can't wait. Say this all the time. December is the holidays. It's a time to be with family and friends. Be very cheerful. And then we go to war in January, right? Unless you're a New York Jets fan. Everyone else, we go to war. It's playoff time. I love January. It's one of my favorite times of the year because it's nonstop playoff action. I don't miss those games. You see the poster behind me? Yeah, I'm getting ready. I am. I already know the collision course for my Bears is going to be Bears-Packers Wild Card Weekend. And Jordan Love yesterday, there's reports. Yeah, it's confirmed. He's going to be ready for the playoff game. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. But again, transfer portal opens today. It's going to be interesting to see what all these different teams do. But Indiana, this is the new reality. This ain't the BCS era. It's not even the 14 playoff era. It's the 12-team playoff era. That's what we live in now. If you're Miami, you're Indiana, you could go compete for a national title. If you're Ole Miss, you lose your coach, you could compete for a national title. This is the Mark Moses Show podcast. We're going to have a lot of fun here in 2026. I thought I'd chime in here on a Friday. Happy New Year. Yes, I want to thank Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorney Studios, for coming on again here for New Year. And if you'd like to be an advertiser, you'd like to come on to the best show here in the state of Florida, contact me today through socials or my website at Mark Moses Show. Yes, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games, and I'll see you Monday. Black Monday in the NFL here on the Mark Moses Show.